we must turn our attention to Roger Gewolb. He's CEO of Fair Money, personal finance and credit expert. I think he's quizzical this morning. We'll find out, though. Roger, morning.
Good morning, James.
So let's talk about inflation, both here and across the pond.
Well, in America, unbelievably, their inflation has dropped by 50%. It's now under 5%. And this in a country with a sleepy president who's under investigation with his family for alleged improper dealings, a highly politicized judiciary, and an executive that is in such chaos that the country is going to run out of money in 22 days if they can't agree on the national debt and the budget. They will. It always happens this way. But, I mean, it's a real mess compared to the big mess we've got over here, and yet they managed to get their inflation down.
But isn't the difference between their inflation and our inflation is that their inflation was partly driven by excess demand because they are largely self-sufficient in their energy, whereas we are not self-sufficient in our energy, and until or unless the global energy price comes down and that feeds through to what we pay, we are going to have a significant cost of living crisis.
Well, I think that's absolutely right. It's only a part of it, I would say about a third. Yes, they are self-sufficient in their energy. We are not. But worse than that, as I have been saying for many years, our energy is priced because of conventions that go back to the 80s when the energy firms were nationalized. Our energy, 2/3 of which is electricity. Electricity is priced off the international price of gas, which it actually has very little to do with.
Which so I think that's a very important point, which is, again, the government say that they want to reduce inflation, and yet they seem to be unable or unwilling to do the very simple things that they could do. Unconnecting, as you say, unconnecting the way that, or changing the way that energy prices are calculated, which they could do, changing the way that tax is either charged or indeed raised, which they haven't done, and changing the way in which markets work and are regulated, which they haven't done. And then the opposition, open goal, nothing.
Nothing. I mean, this is successive governments. I don't know what the fix is, but it goes back a long way. They need.
It's called incompetence, Roger. Anyway, we are not going to be incompetent because we'll run out of time if we don't hurry up. So let's talk about the government. More incompetence. They just keep spending.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm wearing this button here, this badge I buy, because I've decided maybe, you know, I don't spend all my time criticizing the gaslighting of the government and the opposition. Sometimes I'm sleeping. But I decided, you know, I'm going to stop resisting that, and I'm going to believe what Rishi Rich and Haughty Hunt are telling us about how good things are. So I'm going out and spending.
Are you spending your way out of recession?
That's exactly it. That's exactly
lovely.
It.
What have you bought yourself recently, Roger, to celebrate?
I bought myself a new printer, James. And I'm very excited.
You have treated yourself, Roger, and I suppose we just have to keep on spending and then hope that we'll get through to the other side. Meanwhile, Airbnb, let's talk about them.
Well, I think this is a very good opportunity for viewers. Airbnb and their stock market analysts have recently announced that they're expecting lower profits and significantly lower volumes of business as people return to pre-pandemic travel habits. You know, they want to spend less, and where the cost of living crisis has really hurt. So, you know, some of the nicer Airbnb homes are getting passed up and people are going for the cheaper ones. There's fierce competition, and also hotel booking sites like, not to promote anybody, but say booking.com have also, been deluged by flat and homeowners that would have normally gone to Airbnb. They're now cultivating that market, these hotel booking sites. So the competition is hotting up tremendously. So for our viewers, this is a great time to grab yourself a bargain in a city that you've always wanted to visit. A little bit of research will get you a very cheap airfare. And now you can get, you know, some glorious accommodations.
Sounds marvelous. Dr. Roger Gewolb, CEO of Fair Money, personal finance and credit expert. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning here on Talk, where it's the paper.